The last one then is the way out strategy. Okay? So, this is what you need to do to get out of here. This is the strategy. Okay? To learn the entire separated self on level 1. And that's in my book if you really wanted to learn it. Persona.
Against the 10 corrections.
No. This is the strategy for the way out. 10 corrections are there.
So
Okay?
could you repeat that last one again?
To learn the entire separated self on level 1. Which means, basically, who are you? You know, what part of you is the persona, what part is the shadow, and who are you as a personality? So if I said to you there now, who are you? Do you know? When you take your ego, your persona, and everything out of the picture, what's left? You know, so we have built this false identity of who we are, and we really need to first become aware of it, and then to realize, well, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. And just say no to what's not you. And sooner or later, you will come in to that powerful place of your true personality. You see, you have an amazing personality, you don't need the freaking persona. The persona one is all made up, it's false, and you know that. So it's kind of like when you're people pleasing. You don't really want to people please, you want to be honest, but you have to do this because you need something from this person. So you're manipulating. So you're manipulating yourself, and you're going to feel rotten about that.
So the personality, Michael, is right-mindedness, is it, or?
Yeah, your personality is coming from your higher self. Okay. But the problem is that the ego's sucking the life out of it. So your personality is here to do a job. And the job it's here to do, if you're at this stage, is to wake up, to get into level 2, and that's what the personality is there to do. So the personality is ready for this. All it needs is for you to drop the persona. Cause and effect. When you start dropping the persona, your personality will automatically inflate. Okay? So you must learn to separate itself. The next thing, you must learn all the coping mechanisms. Right? Where do you use passive aggressive? Anybody? When's the last time you used passive aggressive? You're using it every day.
At the traffic lights and whatnot.
Yeah. So you can see now you're just feeding the ego with all of this. You need to learn all the coping mechanisms.
And it's
where
very
you,
hard to identify it and then straight away I said, oh, I should.
That's what it's all about, Eileen. We need to learn this. We need to learn all defenses and then to uncover our attachments. Now, it's very easy to find your attachments. How do you find your attachments? It'll piss you off. You know you're attached to it. And the only thing you're attached to is a thought. What you do with that thought is you deny it, you suppress it, you project it out, and now you react to it. So what you do is you place the thought, you project the thought into a story that's going on in your life. And it could be you and some other person. So this story now becomes a drama. You stand back from the story, stand back from the drama, and look at what's happening in it. Who's playing what roles? Who's the victim? Who's the victimized? Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's the goodie? Who's the baddie? Just look at what's really happening in your relationships. This is what's happening. If you can come out of that emotional part of it where you really think that this is real, it's not real. You're projecting your shit onto someone and you're reacting to it and trying to get away from it. You're not taking responsibility here. That's what projection is. It's not taking responsibility. And the last thing you need to do then is just, you need to learn new empowerment tools. You need empowerment tools. And you need to get a fucking ear. What do you call them? Hearing aid. Because you're working on it for the last 5 years. And the funny thing is, right, my teachings have come to a fucking end and you're telling me now you're getting a hearing aid. That's just beautiful. Beautiful. You couldn't have written it in a script. Oh, you did write it in a script. Alright, so anyway. So, the moment you start mastering detachment, you start taking your power back. Okay? And that's what forgiveness is. Forgiveness basically takes you from level 1 into level 2. Okay? And that's you taking back your power. You retake your power from the persona through awareness of detachment. And that means you start increasing now the personality of who you truly are to around 66%, which is 2/3 of yourself. All right? So then, that brings you now to what this is all about. Okay? So, these 4 here is to learn and master what responsibility is. You ain't going to get into level 2 until you get this one sorted first. Forget about all the rest. One person who's in this room, okay, right, went straight to unconditionality and non-attachment. Is that right, Amory? Didn't even bother with the first 4. You can see the problem with that. You see, it's the first 4 of responsibility, acceptance, discernment, and forgiveness that's going to weaken the false self, the persona, so much that now you can actually move and start to practice unconditionality in your relationships. You try to do that from here. Can't be done, it's impossible. You don't even know what it looks like because that thought doesn't exist on level 1. So you need to be up, first of all, you need to increase this to 66%, then you need to work with this.
Michael, can I ask you a question?
Is it intelligent?
Sorry? Is there something that when you mentioned the 66% before, I didn't get it, and now you're saying it again. Can you say it again, please?
The 66% is your personality. At the moment, it's 7%.
Oh, you have to increase it to 66%
Yes.
before it's back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can see there's a very clear strategy in this, and I've been taking my students through this strategy, and it's worked. Now, other people will find other strategies, other ways through this, that's okay. But ultimately in this, it's really about timing and knowing cause and effect. It's about standing back and not attacking the ego. You see here, responsibility, acceptance, discernment. The ego's already doing it. There are already thoughts in there, and you're giving them now different meaning. Here's the most important clue of all. Jesus says this in the Course. To the ego, to undo the ego means you will destroy it. And he says very clearly, you cannot destroy it. Because it's a thought that belongs to you, that must be reinterpreted. And the way we reinterpret the ego, which is the persona, we reinterpret it with the 10 corrections. That was it. Because here, Moses, right, give the 10 commandments here, would split the ego, right and wrong and good and bad. The Course now gives us the 10 corrections here, which splits the ego, what's illusion from what's true. So here is what's going on to undo here. So that's the strategy. Once you get into level 2, you then start the practice of unconditionality, non-attachment, and here's your empowerment tools here. And the last one is silent prayer. Silent prayer, silent meditation is formless. That's to prepare you now for stillness in your mind to go into here. Okay? Because what you're going to experience here is complete bliss. There's no thoughts, there's only silence. There's no judgments.
Will any kind of meditation do?
Silent. Which means you don't go in looking, seeking, doing, planning, fixing, getting rid of anything. You just go in to be. It's the hardest state of mind because you're always going to have thoughts about you need to do this or you need to do that or you have to go here. So you can't do this right here. Look where it comes at the very end. So it means you have to be up in this mindset for a period of time. And when you're there, you will experience more regularly flashes of bliss, bliss, bliss coming in here. That'll tell you where you're at. Okay, so how you react and how you're feeling will tell you where you are. So there's only one problem. Your problem, which is going to solve every other problem that you have, and the only problem you have is you're on level 1. The only problem you need to solve It's how to get out of it and on to level 2. Everything else is not a problem. So what was the one thing, Paul?
Purpose, is there a purpose?
The
for
purpose, the meaning of life.
The eternity, yeah.
Yeah. Well, your purpose in eternity is the same as it is here. You're here to wake up. In heaven, in this state, there's 2 states. And when I say this, people say they're not 2 states. But Jesus says very clearly in the Course, there's 3 states even. There's the Creator, God, there's God's Son, and then there's God's, our extensions, which are our creations. And Jesus explains heaven as one line, continuous line of continuous creation and extension. So what that really is to me, God is awareness, God's Son is the state of being, and we are moving from the state of being into awareness. In other words, we're moving from basically that state of comatized bliss that we've always been in into our creative abilities, the same as God, the Creator. In other words, we're going to become co-creators with God. All right? Now, the mind that you're in at the moment, Paul, is split. And a split mind can never comprehend oneness. And that's what this is. So anything I say to you now won't make any bit of sense to you, so I'm not even going to bother. Jesus also covers this in the Course where he says, God is, and then you shut up. Because the mind just can't comprehend that at this level, or even this level. You need to be well advanced in this mind to even start to understand what that is. You know? So what I seen here, right, Paul? One of the visions I seen a couple of weeks ago, because that's how I see everything in the world is visions and pictures and images. What I seen was this, what this world is, right? Just imagine this whole world is like a big egg. Okay? One big egg. All right? And inside this big egg, you see all these little lights. Us. And they're flickering on and off. Little tiny lights. And they're just flickering on. And all around this egg, there's, imagine God, and he's cooling it. And then sometimes he needs to heat it. You know, think of an egg that you put in a nest. You know, I grew up on a farm and we had little chicks, and so we used to put the light above the eggs and everything, and above the little chicks and everything. So this world is a nursery. Okay, that's what life is. That's what the game of life is, right? And it's going to take time for this egg to fully develop and become accustomed to the light, because it's always been in the light, but it's never been aware of the light. All right. So what's happening in the meantime, all right, this egg, all right, has to take time to develop. So while this is going on, all right, what do you think is going on all around us? Distractions, dramas, stories, conflicts. The world is at war. We have to find peace in the war. Oh, my family's at war. We have to find peace. We have to find this. Oh, I'm in bad shape. I have to get the answers to life. I have to do this. I have to do this. So everything we've been doing for the last couple of thousand years has all been a distraction, because this egg is going to take time to nourish, to evolve. And there's nothing can stop this egg from becoming all light. Nothing can stop it. It's impossible that anything can stop it. And that's why 2 weeks ago I had the experience of, if I never did another thing the day I died, it ain't going to make a difference on anything. And that's the same with everybody in this room. You all believe that you have to do this, that's so important, that, you know, that's specialness. That's feeding into the ecosystem. For you to go into that silence and that stillness, you will know at that moment in time that you're ready to hatch. And when you hatch here, all right, you don't need to wait till the collective hatches, because Jesus says the whole is in the part. And every grain of sand that you see, any bit of dust, is the entire universe and every universe that there ever is. Okay? So you only need to do this individually yourself. The gates of heaven is open now. I have proof of it. I have a letter from God that proves it. And you will receive a letter from God. There's a finality to this year.
There's what?
A finality. Once you reach this level, and complete level 2, you've accepted the atonement. You will get confirmation and validation of that. And the way that I got this, and I didn't expect this, I didn't see this coming. It was like this. For the first 44 years of my life, it was my script. I chose all my challenges. I chose all my lessons. 7 years ago, I was asked a question one night, would I help to awaken our brothers? And I said, yes. I experienced revelation the following night. And in that revelation, I had a meeting with God, and I was given certain gifts, and I was basically then wiped from my memory. 2 weeks ago, that conversation, that letter, everything that happened back then, everything I've been doing the last 7 years was revealed to me, and it was beautiful. These 10 conditions here, I learned every single one as I was writing, as I was teaching. I wrote my book, and all of these are in the book, and I didn't even know that. You know, you have chapters on responsibility, acceptance, false forgiveness, true forgiveness. It's all there. And I didn't even know that at the time. So everything that I was teaching here, I was learning, but also I was learning the lessons. I was experiencing. My mum taught me through everything. She has Alzheimer's. My dad taught me unconditionality and non-attachment. You know, I went through all of these lessons. I experienced them all. I walked this path, and the same path that you're walking on now. And you will, once you complete these 10 corrections, you have to find a way to do it. And this can be done in a few short years if you put your mind to it. It doesn't need to take 7, because I was doing a lot of shit in those 7 years. This can happen very quick for those who want this. There's only one thing that you need to know. Just ask yourself this question, right? Is there anything other than heaven that I want? And if there is, be honest with yourself and go and fucking do it. Put it on your bucket list. And then scrub it. Because as long as there's a part of you that wants something in this world, this is going to be very difficult for you to do here. But here's the key. You lose nothing and you gain everything. Because no matter, would you not rather do everything in this world with God and experience the bliss? Rather than thinking there's something I need to do with the ego here. Because that part of you that wants something in the world is the part you have to let go. That's the key. You must recognize this part of yourself. It's like when Isabel walked in today, you were saying, you know, bad, you know, feeling bad, feeling bad. But that's the part that has to go. Because your personality doesn't feel bad. Your true self, your higher self, your Christ self, definitely not feeling bad. The only part of you that could feel bad is the part that you have to let go. The part that's angry, the part that's depressed, the part that's sick. You know, that's all you have to let go. Find that part. Because you're feeding that part. So find where you're feeding it. Disempower it. Get up into level 2, start taking responsibility. So let's look at responsibilities quickly here now, right? Yeah. So let's look at the facts, the things that you are responsible for here, right? One of the things you're responsible here for is your script. Yeah? Are you aware of your script, Paul?
Are you talking about fate or?
No, I'm talking about fact. I'm talking about before you were born, you wrote down and chose all your experiences, your education, you chose your religions, you chose basically everything. And you're laughing?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have written it anyway.
But you did write it.
Sorry?
But you did write it.
I did, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Well, not obviously. I
I've done
mean,
it, so
Je-
it has happened, so.
yeah, Jesus says in the course very clearly about this. People keep saying to me, oh, he doesn't talk about the script of the course. Of course he talks about the script. He says we choose all our own experiences, we choose all our relationships, those to meet will meet, he says it very clearly. How the hell could all of that happen in a world with 8 billion people? If you're supposed to meet someone and you're dropped in here in the middle of nowhere and there's no accident, you're going to meet that person. Now, how's that going to happen if it's not pre-programmed? He also says you're responsible here, right? There's no accidents. Do we take responsibility for that? They also say no one dies without their own consent. Do you take responsibility for that? No, because you're always worried that something might happen to you. And that's so. You need to take responsibility for what you do, and you don't. You know why? Because you're in pain. That means you're doing it with the ego. You're responsible for everything you react to. Isn't that true? Why? Because you're the perceiver, you're the dreamer, and the dream figure in the dream. You see all the responsibilities, and you never think of them because the persona can't afford for you to think. You're responsible for everything you hear. So late at night, the dog's barking next door, the music went on. What's your first reaction? Huh?
Anger.
I thought you said wanker.
Then
Then I just said it. I'm not even going to edit that out. All right. So, you know, of course it comes up. Are you taking responsibility for what you hear?
Oh, Michael Murray, did I really, really ask to be married to the asshole I was married to? Did I really?
Not only asked for it, but begged. Do you know why?
No.
Because that person is a mirror to herself to show us what we have denied in ourselves. And the thought that you place in him, it's not asshole. Even though it's in the ego thought system, that would be formed. What you need is content. All right, which means most likely guilt. He's a victimizer. All these thoughts that you'll see here. All right, so this is what we need to see for ourselves. But we don't, it's easy to blame the other person, so we don't want to take responsibility. But that's what forgiveness is. It's taking responsibility. So let's just move. So I'm going to do up a thing for responsibilities and list all the responsibilities that you can take and all that you're going to have to take at some point. But there's certain ones you know that you can take and you can't take them. That's why the ego is no defense against this. Let's look at other acceptances, right? It says in the Course very clearly that there's nothing external to you can hurt you in any way, cause you any pain, make you sick in any way. Do we take responsibility for that? No. Do we accept that? We read it all in the Course. I've been saying it for 5 years to all of you, but no one wants to take responsibility for it. They don't accept it. Because every time something goes wrong, you're so convinced it's this other person. This other person's the problem. If you could only get that fucking neighbor sorted, my life would be great. If my ex would just leave me alone, I'll have a great life. If I could only win the lottery, I promise I'll do so much for good in this world. You know? So you can see what's happening. No responsibility, no acceptance. And then, to really rub it in, we move to discernment. Now everything's right and wrong, good and bad. I could take you here and take you through all the 10 connections, all right? But it's not the thing to do at the moment, all right? Learn the rules of the game, learn what you have to do, learn what you can't do, and then the rest is going to be easy. Now, if anybody wants further advice on this on a one-to-one basis, what I'm going to be doing now, I'm not going to be the teacher that's going to come here and teach over and over again the same thing. I've never done that in the 5 years. Every video, every teaching has been a continuum, one after the other. And there's none after this. Okay, I'll have clarity on this. I'll expand on what's already written. I'm already writing the book Genesis, which is for the power of now. Is basically everything we did today is to put it into that book along with what Eckhart has written in that book and his questions to basically use that book as Genesis for what this is today. So everybody will see very clearly in that book exactly how to do what I've been talking about today. Okay? That's what it's really all about. That's what life is really all about. You know, you have to make the decision now. Right? Remember what Jesus says in the Course. He says, the only difference between me and you is he said, I said no to the ego. Do you know what he said no to? Level 1, completely. That's it. That's all you have to do. And when you can do that, you will wake up into level 3. And what's going to help you to do this, and what's going to do it for you, is level 2. You don't have to do anything. This mindset will do it for you. It'll take you through it. But you have to get in there and be able to stay there long enough for this mindset Because you see the way the ego takes you on a train now, and a journey now, into stories and dramas and projections and reactions. Well, this mindset will take you into a mind of healing and correction. There's no fear, there's no anxiety, there's no stress, there's no judgments, there's no sickness, there's no death in this mindset. It's the difference of day and night. And the other thing is this, is you have absolutely no excuse not to do this. I'm going to be taking on, like I was saying, I'm going to be not teaching the same thing over and over again, but what I am going to do, I've made a commitment, I'm going to take on 24 students every year. I'm going to start a student program for those people who want to do this, and I'm going to work with these people on a weekly basis on Skype. I've already started taking a number of people who want to teach Genesis and learn Genesis, and anybody who wants to do that, contact me, because I can take you through the teaching program for this. Because this is going to be the new teaching of the 21st century. It's not going to be done with words anymore. It's going to be done with symbols and what else?
Strategies.
Yes, that's exactly it. Plus application. And one thing, when I do the level 1 with my students, I take them through all the theory of level 1. And when I do the level 2 classes with them now, I navigate through them here, all their current situations and problems they have, but we use this thinking now. So what I do with them, I navigate through the problems with them. They see how this works. And I do this with enough times with them, and they start to do this themselves then. They can see how this works. But what's really happening is, I'm able to bring them up into this mindset, keep them in this mindset, the same way Byron Katie does, but I can keep them there longer because we have more to work with. All right? And all of a sudden that person can start doing it for themselves, because it's this mind that does everything for you. So if there's any questions to finish up?
You're going to email us that.
Yeah, I'll email that. Just anybody who anybody request it, because I don't know everybody's
I'm
emails.
requesting.
All right, if you want these handout, request it. So we'll finish up there then, and thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.